Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, man, this does not work. Let's get open for business and let's wake up, my football guys. Wake up, guys. All right. Please stop. Just stop. I'm sick and tired of people that are like, somebody just sent me an Instagram message that said, we about to get Josh Gordon. We are not taking Josh Gordon. We're not. We're not. And I'm telling you, something happened in New England in that locker room because all of this stuff changed rapidly. Because New England was so desperate for wide receivers that they traded a number 2 to get Mohamed Sanu. They brought in guys left and right trying to fill in the wide receiver position. He practiced, went through a walkthrough in the morning. They cut a guy. After practice, all of a sudden, he gets put on injured reserve. There's no injury reported, no new injury. Gets put on injured reserve, and suddenly the next day, the guy who was cut is back. Something happened in that locker room for Bill Belichick to say, bye-bye. We're talking about a team that brought in AB because they were desperate. So if you think that Josh Gordon, who is still injured, coming off an injury, is going to help the Dallas Cowboys, you are stuck on stupid. Josh Gordon has not had good numbers. Listen, he had a monster year in 2013. 2013, he was an absolute beast. 1,600 yards. 1,646 yards. Yeah, that's great. That's great. But after that, 303, 335, 737, 17, 720 last year, which was with Tom Brady throwing to him, and 287 for this year. See, this is what drives me crazy because what happens to people out there is they think about the one good year or what they did a long time ago. Because people still think that you're going to get 2014 Dez right now. You're not. People think that you're going to get 2014 Tony Romo right now, but you're not. Players get old. And here's the thing with Josh Gordon. He's a problem child. You don't need more problem children. You don't want to start depending on somebody and then you don't have them. We were there with Randy Gregory. We were there with David Irving. You need people that are head and shoulders focused on football. Not getting high or getting drunk or staying in trouble or falling asleep when you have a basketball legend trying to tell you what it takes to be a winner. Or showing up late for practice. I'm sick and tired of people who take for granted what they have. The fact that you get to the pinnacle of your play, the top, the NFL, you got an opportunity to make life-altering money. All you got to do, 5, 10 years, focus on just that, and you got easy street for the rest of your life. Easy street. That's all you got to do. I know you're a 21, 22-year-old kid that all of a sudden has some money, and you think that, well, that's going to be like it is for the rest of my life. No, it's not. Because what you're going to find out is you got companies that specialize in getting homes for the professional athletes. You know what they do? They get you moved right into that house. And as soon as you end up getting broke, they move you right on out. And they move somebody right back in. Because take a look at how many NFL players or basketball players that made a boatload of money and are broke a couple years later. A fool and their money is departed. And this is what makes me absolutely, positively sick when you have opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Now, I ask you, with him having 287 yards this year, injured, let's take a look at our Dallas Cowboys, where we are right now. Because I want to understand what you guys think you are going to get with Josh Gordon on our team, where we're already one of the top. I'm sorry, there's only 3 teams that are over 300 yards per game passing. 300 yards per game plus passing. The Dallas Cowboys are one of the 3. So your 287 yards that he's got, where does that stand with the Dallas Cowboys? Well, I see Randall Cobb's got 239. I see Amari Cooper has 621. I see Michael Gallup has 421. I see Jason Witten has 263, almost as much as Josh Gordon. Blake Jarwin's got 120. And Devin Smith has 113. So you're going to try and bring in somebody who can't stay out of trouble, who's injured, and take one of your guys off the field. Is that what you think you're going to do? Is that what you're suggesting we do? A guy who doesn't know anything about your system. Week 9. That's your plan. Stop. Because I'm already fired up about Trysten Hill. Because, again, this goes back to idiots. Idiots that have opportunity and they screw around with it. You know, I see that baby face. Because, see, I see you're young. And when you're young, you don't give a damn. But you know what? The only thing that team cares about is what you do on that field. When you are part of the Dallas Cowboys, they don't give a rat's ass if you went out last night. You were expected to perform. And, buddy, you're getting paid to perform. That means you got to prepare. That means you got to get your nose in the book. You got to learn your plays. You mean you've got to be a tip-top physical condition. And if you get hurt, you show up to get yourself treated, to get your ass back on the field. And if you don't get that, your ass will be out there broke as hell on the field, on the streets. Yeah, David Irvin. Oh man, you know they cramped my style and everything else. You know, I like to smoke weed. Well, go, buddy, go smoke your weed then. Fine, go right ahead. But you're gonna look back. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you're gonna be one of those guys that's in the bar, sitting on the bar stool, and say, "Yeah, you know, I was on the Dallas Cowboys, man. I could have had it all, but I threw it away, and now it's too late." You guys have got to understand there ain't too many chances. You better get your shit together. Because the NFL will just keep on rolling without you. Now, some good news at least. For the first time all season, we may finally see a healthy Amari Cooper. Remember, didn't really have training camp. The heel issue. He played against the Eagles with a bruise that wrapped around his leg. He's had a multitude of little nicks and things like that, but has performed as one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's like 100%. And for the first time, he was listed as a full participant. So we're talking about a guy who hasn't been able to practice. Not games now. We're talking about he couldn't practice. And now he's going to get some practice now, some reps for the first time since really OTAs. Oh, suck it. You might want to watch out. But see, this is a guy who gets it. This is the kind of players that you want on your team. Most wide receivers are mouthy. They're arrogant. They're me. I love me some meat kind of guys. Give me the damn ball. And the funny thing about those guys, when you think about the biggest trash-talking wide receivers, the Odell Beckhams and things, you know what they all have in common? Do you? They don't have rings. Great numbers. AB. Incredible wide receiver. Big mouth. Doesn't get along well with others. Odell Beckham in that one-handed catch. In a game that he gets hurt on, they lose anyway. Chad Ochocinco. T.O. They all run their mouth. And they're incredible athletes that can just show up. But see, that's the problem. When you're an Odell Beckham that just shows up, when you absolutely have to, and you don't put in that extra work, in the off season, when you show up for training camp and say, I don't really want to play here. I'll see you next week. When you up there and say, we're going to be New England-like for the next 5-6 years, but you don't put in the work like New England, but you expect the results, you don't get them. But that's where you have an Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper was working out with the quarterback. Not only in OTAs being to every one of them, but in the offseason getting together. And you can see the dividends that are paid because of the numbers that you see with the quarterback. Dak Prescott is on pace for about 4,800 yards. Amari Cooper has already got, in the last 16 games, almost 1,500 yards. We're talking about better than what Dez Bryant ever did. This guy is about as calm, cool, collected, and as quiet as anybody you'd ever meet. You would think he was an offensive lineman because that's how quiet he is. And that's the kind of player that if I'm going to go get somebody, I want somebody like that comes to work every day. That's not about me, doesn't have issues all off the field. That's not getting suspended every half season. So let this whole thing about getting Josh Gordon, I'm sick and tired of it. You don't want that. We got enough problem childs. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll talk to y'all later. Just shaking my head at some of y'all.